Thanks for listening to this special podcast, a week 3 wrap up featuring Alex and Taylor of DG Experience. All right, so to start off with Paper Planes, we had the big storyline with Anya and Owen. And personally, I like that Owen wasn't the one that forced her or encouraged her to do the cocaine, which I originally thought might have been what was going to happen. What did you guys think about that?
Yeah, when Owen said to her, I have practice in the morning, and I'm not going to do that now, and we were like, yes, thank you, Owen, for being above the influence.
Exactly, and I really liked it because we got a lot of slack from people about shipping Anya so hardcore. He wants Anya to stay this sweet and charming young girl that she is. He's not trying to corrupt her.
So much of it, I think, was actually more so he wanted to take back from doing bad and having problems in school by being with Anya. He liked the sweetness of her, and I think so much of that went down the drain when she decided to go to a Coke party.
So do you think that there might be a future for Owen and Anya?
I feel like they have a chance.
I definitely still have hope in the Anya relationship.
Anya, that ending scene, and she's just like up in the club dancing up on that like weird guy from Jersey Shore or something. It was sort of like, yeah, she's sort of in a bad place right now, but I feel like they have a lot to talk out.
Now, what about getting into college? What's her future going to be now?
Well, first of all, when she went into that interview and she pulled out the cocaine in the dean's office, we were like, Anya, what are you doing, girlfriend? The dean said to her, he's like, if I didn't know any better, I'd think you were on drugs. And I'm like,
if only you knew. She really was, I think that, I don't know. I think Anya could have a community college is a possibility.
It's an option.
I don't know. I mean, if I were her, I'd be looking at all my options.
Or maybe she'll get connected for free.
With education connection.
Exactly.
And another thing I really liked was that the storyline, they didn't wrap it up at the end with the cocaine, that there's obviously going to be something that's going to happen in the future with it, too. So maybe she won't be going to college.
Yeah, I like that they don't always end the storylines. Like, I want to see a continuation later on.
First of all, Samantha Monroe and Daniel Kelly have this amazing chemistry that you wouldn't have ever expected.
Right.
And all of their scenes in these episodes were phenomenal. And the last scene she has with her mother where she's just like, Mom, I don't care. We were like, we couldn't even hate her for being mean to her mom
because she was just fantastic.
It was so well delivered.
Also in the episode, we had Fiona dealing with the bed bugs.
First of all, Fiona in these hats and these outfits, she looks like Rosie the Riveter.
It was terrible. It was Rosie the Riveter plus sparkly hat. It was great.
But the whole Charlie thing, we've never really taken an interest in Charlie. I mean, we've only known her for 3 episodes?
Charlie is 45 and ridiculous, and I cannot ship them together. It was never a ship in my mind. It just can't happen.
Her blaming the bedbugs on Charlie, understandable. Charlie's basically been a gypsy moving around to different places with her cat. So I could understand how Fiona would be like, did you bring bugs in my house? Understood. Mm-hmm. But their entire breakup, we were just kind of like, oh, did that just happen?
And the breakup was over something so stupid. Basically, Charlie couldn't stand not having alcohol in the house. I was like, okay, so you're a gypsy alcoholic right now. I'm sorry. Really? You're going to have a problem with this when Fiona is putting you in her house, who is helping you when she really doesn't have to? It was too much for me. I was like, Charlie, you need to get on your scooter and drive away.
And I'm kind of hoping somewhere down the road, Fiona will get with someone unexpected and we'll be like, oh, yes, that works. But I don't know. Degrassi, you're either single when you graduate, you die, or you get married to someone you shouldn't be married to.
Exactly.
So, I don't know.
And then about the possible alcohol relapse, are you glad that it didn't happen, or did you kind of want to see that? Because I know a lot of people were on both sides of that this week, I saw.
When she picked up the cup with the champagne in it, we were cringing. I was so afraid. I said, oh my God, Fiona, please don't do this. And I was so glad that she put it down and she said, I have to go call my mom. I think I clapped for her.
I was really happy. I did not want to see a relapse at all. Oh, it couldn't have gone better for me.
Also, in the Paper Planes episodes, we had the Connor storyline with more about taking pictures of the women's underwear in the locker rooms, and we got the wrap-up of that. And, I mean, I thought the scene with Mr. Simpson, telling Connor that he was going to be suspended and all that was just such a heartbreaking and really well-done scene.
We loved how they concluded it for him, how he was called into Simpson's office and Simpson, took the time to take him aside and not embarrass him in front of people, and that it was his main group of friends that let him know that this is what Connor's doing and it's not okay.
AJ Sowden, the acting in that scene was just ridiculous. It was so well done.
It was so heartbreaking to see him. He was just trying to push past Simpson because he wanted to go work on his app. I couldn't.
Like, is he pulling an Allie and going to be gone for a few episodes, or?
I do feel it, because it seems that AJ Sowden hasn't been to many read-throughs recently, and it seems like he has been sort of taking a little hiatus from the set, so I feel like he won't be in very much for the rest of season 11. It just seems that way.
I mean, because I think they could have done maybe a little more after that, because I kind of want to see, how he's going to be when he comes back, and maybe a scene with him at some of the meetings or something like that.
I'm hoping to see some of that, but see, this is one of the continuing issues with the plot lines, is that there are so many characters on the show, and they have to sort of have these little ways where they sort of send people away for a little bit of time so they can shine light on other plot lines. So it's sort of a give and take, like a push and pull sort of thing.
Right. And it's difficult because you do want to see the characters' journeys outside of what their, normal plot in Degrassi is, but you also want to see these other characters that you forget about. You're like, oh, we haven't heard from this guy in a while. Why haven't we seen this character? And a lot of times it's because they're getting ready to push another character to the side for a little while, send them away someplace so that they can bring something else into the light.
So I think that's about it for Paper Planes, unless you guys have anything else you want to add.
I just wanted to say Connor pushing Allie down in the locker room.
For the second time.
Yes.
We approve.
Now we have Shoulda Said No, and the big Jake and Claire episodes, especially last night, a special birthday treat for Alex, right?
Happy birthday, Alex!
Woo-woo! Here's some cake.
I'm sure you have a lot to say on this, so go ahead.
I'm not doing well with this right now. Taylor?
Alex's hopes and dreams and faith is a little bit shaky this week. I've had to give a lot of motivational speaking and letting her know that Eclair is still endgame because she's losing hope. My thing with Cake is, okay, one, they're kneeling to kiss, so it's not going to work. They're not working out. No, they're kneeling to kiss.
If their height difference is that extreme, they will not be able to go to prom together because Claire is so short and he is so tall that they won't be able to dance. Jake, for Claire right now, is a comfortable situation. He is an easy situation. She's a little hormonal right now. Her and Helen, they both have some biological urges going on. Our personal opinion, the cakeouts are a little disgusting. It's a little sloppy. This isn't just coming from a biased Eclair point of view. Their kisses actually give us nothing. Eli and Claire staring each other down across the parking lot in that one scene when she's writing the note was more electric chemistry than Cake making out in a classroom. It just was. And I feel like Jake is just sort of this little, I don't know, he's just this comfortable transition for her right now. And Eli's in an awful place and he's doing his thing.
I think also that this relationship is not what Claire needs. I mean, she needs some time away. I think she needs some space in general. She's taking a risk right now, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
You're going to get attached.
She knew it for a moment. She said, am I just the other woman? And he's like, well, yeah. And then we were reminded that we hated Jake. At first we were blinded by the beauty of his chest with his shirtless self. And we said, oh, wait a second. And then he was a jerk again, and we were reminded because it's just creepy makeout sessions.
On a side note, but still dealing with Claire, the scene when she found out the divorce papers, what her dad had done and everything, I thought that was probably one of the most emotional, best scenes probably of the season so far.
I think
Absolutely.
That was our favorite scene of the season so far.
Yeah,
and
definitely our favorite for the week for sure.
We actually had to stop and start recording because our reactions to that scene, I was crying. Aislinn Paul's acting in that scene, it was just incredible.
I also have to say kudos to the music. in that scene.
Everything.
Because it was awesome. It further enhanced how amazing that scene was. I think it was perfect. It was real Claire. It was the Claire that we know coming out.
She came back to us for a minute, and we said, yes, that is what needed to happen.
And then also in the episode we had the stuff with Drew, and a big discussion I've been seeing is whether or not the paranoia he's been having, is it realistic? Is it unrealistic? Is it too much? Not enough?
It's understandable. I mean, he's been through some scary stuff.
Hard to say. I mean, I don't know much about the disorder, and I guess it's different for everybody because, some situation may not seem like a lot to some people, but, Drew has led a pretty sheltered life. He's got Audra, the overprotective mother. So, I mean, I think for him, that's a pretty intense experience. And I do have to say, I was mad at Drew for a little while because he did push Casey, and you know how I feel about that. So I wasn't too happy. But I do have to say, I'm kind of intrigued by his plot right now, so I'm willing to give this whole post-traumatic stress disorder thing a shot. I really do.
When he got all up on Officer Turner, I was like, oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
That was a scene that most people were saying, was that too far?
I don't know why he would think that Officer Turner would be the one to go after, especially because Officer Turner was the one to say, Drew, you did the right thing. Thank you for coming to us. We're going to make sure you're safe.
I don't know if I feel like it was too much. I think it was on the verge for sure.
And then also with Drew, we had the setup for the MMA fighting, which started with, of course, the misleading T-Nick promo, leading you to think that, the mystery person was someone bad, but it turned out to be, what's his name, Julian and Owen doing the fighting.
Mm-hmm. When I first saw the hooded figure, I said, I think that's Daniel Kelly. And it turned out to be Julian, and then Daniel Kelly came in, and I was like, yeah, it was going to be him.
I like the whole cage fighting, scary, martial artsy type stuff, though. I think it's a cool plot for Drew, and they've never done anything like that on the show, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I like that they set it up already, because I didn't know if it was going to be some random thing that would just happen. Now we have progression into, next week in the future.
Yeah.
And then to finish off the episode, the whole thing with Dave and Allie and Sadie, and then kind of the Casey, Jenna, Marisol mixed in with that.
For Allie and Dave, I was sort of like, okay, Dave, Allie was rude to you. Remember, she used you that time and you really liked her, but she just wanted to get with Drew. And now they're just sort of like, oh, we like each other. Let's get wings.
Right. And if he's so stupid as to go back to Allie after this, good. He deserved it. Sadie deserves better anyway.
I think Allie and Dave are good for each other. And if anything, I'm so proud of Sadie for doing what she did at movie night. And I want to see Sadie and Liam up in here.
Heck yes.
I'm shipping Lady.
We're very big lady shippers already. I really like Sadie. I think she's a cool chick.
Yes, we're very glad that Sadie's no longer like this mute freshman.
What about Casey, Jenna, and Marisol?
Ugh.
Casey's a scumbag, and I hate to admit it because, he's played by such a wonderful human being, but Casey is scumbag.
It's just so crappy because he's going to school and basically sort of having this like secret but not so secret relationship with Marisol, and Jenna's at home with his child.
Right.
Do you have a heart?
He's leading a double life. It's terrible.
It's very terrible.
But one of the moments I did like with that was when Allie and Dave were walking, and then in the background was
you were reading her mind.
Yeah, I love when they do the little things like that. I think those scenes are really awesome.
We loved when Marisol came into the dot and was like, oh, Allie and Dave, you're here for couples night.
Couples fondue night. It was very funny.
We appreciated Marisol for a second.
And so next week, it seems like we have a lot of possible relationships starting off with Sav and Miss O, and maybe Adam and Katie, and of course Eli and Imogen.
I think we're super excited to see how Sav and Miss O happens.
Absolutely.
I am so, if anything, Cadam is one ship I'm dying to see. I want it to happen. As for Eli and Imogen, we still stand by our idea that their whole kiss is them rehearsing for the play. I do think that something is going to come out of it. I don't know how far it's going to go.
And we think Imogen is more into it at first, at least, than Eli is. So...
And then we have, with Holly J, Teen Lick, again, misleading, making you seem like, she's going to die, but we know that's obviously not the case. But I am excited to see, I guess she's going to find out she was adopted and with the kidneys and...
Yeah, and according to that TV Guide episode description, it says that she's going to be looking for a kidney donor, and I'm guessing the whole, her family, apparently, her mother and maybe Heather Sinclair can't donate to her, and she's going to be like, wait, why? Oh, because we're not related.
I think that about wraps it up for this, unless you guys have any more last thoughts about anything else in general.
I hope the best for the kids. Claire, please hang in there. It's so tough.
All right, well, thanks for taking the time to do this.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.